I've talked at great length about Absalom Station, but guess what? Not done yet. There's an area we still have to get into called the Eye of Absalom. Let's get into it. When it comes to Absalom, we've talked about the corporations, we've talked about the religions, we've talked about the poor people and the middle class. But where do the extremely wealthy and the politicos, where do they hang out when it comes to living in Absalom Station? They hang out at the Eye of Absalom. The Eye is the massive glass dome that you see on the top middle of the station. While you do have artificial light here, you do get a lot of natural light from the sun. And natural light is not something you get in a lot of places in Absalom, so this comes at a pretty premium cost. Inside the main area of the Eye, you have Jatembe Park. This is cared for by the station's druids. It is open to all citizens, so anybody can come and visit. You will commonly find a lot of artists or lovers or people taking in the scenery. Because if you live on the station, it's one of the few places that you can actually see green nature. Around the outside of the park, government buildings as well as the corporate offices, the really expensive ones, they can be found in this area. You will also see a very militarized security force here. Some of them will be in formal armor, some of them will be in undisclosed, unmarked armor. The lines between private security and station police gets a little blurred here. ID gets checked a lot, so make sure if you're visiting the Eye, all your ID is legal. Now, outside of some interesting places that do exist in the Eye, which I will cover in a minute, there are 3 neighborhoods. The neighborhood of Kimanis. Think university culture, but the rich kind of university culture. There is an entertainment district here as well. Nayori Palisades is the place you will find famous people stay. Your virtual stars, hollow stars, movie stars. And last but certainly not least is Parkside. This is the ritzy place that outlines Jatembe Park. The first neighborhood we're going to talk about is Kimanis. This is, like I said, the university neighborhood. It extends all the way from Kimanis University to the Arcanarium. It goes from Kimanis University to Arcanamirium. I think I said that right. Arcanamirium. What you will find in this area is a lot of hope. There is lots of students, rich students, like the elite type of rich students, and they have also created the station's most famous entertainment district. High-end theaters, VR parlors, nightclubs, hotels, and there's even some magical entertainment that can be found here. Now, something interesting has been turning up in this district. Groups of people wearing a mask with a spider over one eye, or a spiderweb pattern, they have been turning up in places that they really shouldn't be. Nobody knows why, considering how tightly controlled this area is. The Shatter Eye Circle, as they've been known to be called, nobody really knows what their goals are, at least at this moment. It could be a performing arts piece. Banksy would probably do something like this. Maybe something else is going on. Real quick before we move on, if you're getting some value out of the video today, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. If you want to get more content like this from myself, then please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. In Nayori Palisades, only the richest of the rich, the most elite, will stay here. Virtual reality stars, celebrities, massive ship producers, as well as famous inventors. They will all stay in this area of Absalom. Now, make no mistake about this area. All of the houses, everything that you see here, they are like a bunker. They are very secure places to live. But inside those bunkers, they are palatial. They are very exquisite and extravagant. Some have their own self-contained ecosystems. Many will have scrying walls, so you can look at whatever kind of scenery you want. Some are even rumored to have teleportation doors to take them anywhere they want to go. And the people who own these properties, they are very, very secretive. Getting any sort of records, even for law enforcement, about who owns what in this area, it's nigh on impossible. The law enforcement do suspect that somebody or some buddies living in this area are killing people. There's been a string of murders that they are trying to investigate, but the police have been unable to get any records for who owns any of the properties. Parkside is where you will find government buildings as well as some luxury homes. The Planera can be found here as well as the Surveying and Colonization Guild. This is where explorers come to make their claims on properties that they've found, like planets, for example. If you discovered a brand new planet, you can make a claim for it. Another interesting building that can be found in Parkside is the Cornucopia building. This is where the poor can come to get medical attention as well as food supplies, but they still have to go to the richest area to do it. So it's a little bit like, look how good we are and here's some food. Now go back to the Spike. The Arcanumerium is an institution that pre-exists the Gap. It goes all the way back to original Golarion. This is the most prestigious magic school that you can go to in the Pact Worlds. The professors here, they believe magic to be a science, and that's how they treat it. Spell coding and blending magic with science. This is where a lot of high-profile technomancers will come. It also houses a massive warehouse of alien artifacts that are used for research, and nobody really knows what they do. At least not all of them anyways. The Bastion can be found here as well. This is the headquarters for the Stewards, who I've talked about, and you can find them here, as well as in the description below. The Stewards are the Pact World's peacekeepers. And inside the Bastion, they get their military training, they get their political sciences, so they understand the laws of the people that they represent in the Pact Worlds. All steward activities, the training, the military exercises, troop movements, they are all managed by the Conclave of Legates. Now, the Stewards are an interesting faction in the sense that they pretty much cannot be bribed. It's very, very uncommon to have a steward on the payroll. They take their pledge to protect those in the Pact Worlds very, very seriously. Now, if you're an actor that fancies themselves kind of a big shot, you will want to come to Hamisfor's Theatorium. This is a theater well known throughout Absalom Station as well as the Pact Worlds. What makes it unique is that this entire building can change to the needs of the production company. Need more seats? Building transforms. Need different sets? Building transforms. You want to have an open roof presentation? You can do that. You still have the dome from the eye. You don't want to open that. In this particular theatorium, they have had the Zero-G acrobatics. They have had the dancing light show raves. And they have concerts from famous acts all over the Pact Worlds. The owner of the theater, Jaboda Hamisfor, is the third owner in the family to own this theater. And he's always on the look for new and promising talent. I mentioned the Planera in Parkside, but the Planera is a government building. You will actually see it quite often in many of the Absalom news feeds in the background or in the pictures. This is where concerned citizens and lobbyists will come to talk to the Pact Council, and they will also have very heated debates on different rules or laws, their rulings. This all happens here. Now, if the council is debating on something that's pretty divisive, they will take this to the Star Chamber. This is the uppermost floor of the Planera, and it gives you a pretty good overview of the Eye. The Swordlight Cathedral can also be found here as well. This is a cathedral dedicated to Iomedae. In here you will find statues depicting Iomedae's 11 miraculous acts before ascending to godhood. The cathedral is built in such a way that it is very reminiscent of the classic Gothic cathedrals. Some of the pillars take the shape of knights with their swords raised up to support the roof. Now, although the church takes its architecture tips from the classic designs of churches, going just above the main halls or the main cathedrals, you will find some modern living. This is where you will see the clergy or visiting clergy. This is where they will stay. You will have high priests, they will live here as well, and there's also a garrison in here of the Iomedae Crusaders. Their job is to protect the relics as well as the records that can be found in this church. If you would like to learn a little bit more about Absalom Station, click on the playlist on the screen now. Thank you so much to all my patron supporters who have been supporting me and the channel. If you would like to support me as well, please consider doing so through Patreon or through Ko-fi. My name's Nathaniel. This has been The Maple Table. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.